So, the Nürburgring entire lap, not bridge to gantry, BTG, because that's only part of the Nürburgring. If you compare the entire Nürburgring to the BTG time, which is the majority of the Nürburgring, you can add approximately 1 minute to the BTG time to get the entire Nürburgring lap. Normally this is not open to the public that much. The competition of this car, as you can see, are M models of BMW, RS models of Audi, and AMG models of Mercedes. The car I have myself is a BMW M5. There's also an SL in the game and an Audi R8 at the front that I'm now chasing. So especially German cars, all cars are German, and power sedans or real sports cars, as you can see here. And we'll just have some fun. We will attempt to break the 7 minutes barrier for the entire track, so that could be a little bit over 6 minutes for the BTG part, which is quite a feat for this car. So this is a BMW M5, normally 500 horsepower, now approximately 700 horsepower. It has a 7-speed transmission, as you can see. The sounds at the back are the petadils roughhousing with each other and playing with the ball. And we will see how much time we can put between the Audi R8 and this BMW M5. So now it's approximately 3.7 seconds, and we try to expand that. But the most important thing, of course, is to try to break the 7 minutes barrier for the entire lap. Here we'll try to do a little bit of a shortcut, so instead of taking the entire bend, to try to cut it off a little bit over the grass there. With some additional space, and also just optimize what I can do here. As you can see, that helped add a little bit more time. So the blue line that you can see is the preferred racing line, and when it's indicated red, they advise to brake. I will not always conform to that, as you also saw on that turn. But of course it's a very good way to learn the track, so especially if you're a new driver, I would recommend listening very closely and taking notice of these points. So this car has a rear-wheel drive setup, no four-wheel drive, and this has a naturally aspirated 5-liter V10, which is a dual of an engine. Another benefit is that because it has rear-wheel drive, it feels very balanced and is quite light for such a big car. Another thing that I try to attempt, because I have the braking bias at the front. Why is that? Because the rear wheels are powering the car, and I want to not load them too much. So if the brake emphasis at the front, you don't get a lot of delay when you're transferring from full braking to putting the full power on the rear tires again. Now you see a part of the Nürburgring that's going a little bit uphill. So now the real power that this car makes helps still power on. If you have little power, you will struggle to reach 250 kilometers an hour there. So of course I could also put a rear bias on the braking, but then you have a little bit like a handbrake type of effect, especially when cornering and braking at the same time. And that will cost you, in my opinion, a lot more time. Not only because, as mentioned, you will get a little bit of delay when transferring the power back onto the back wheels again, but also because it will skid a little bit too much. But still, by disrupting the balance of this car, putting the weight even more to the front when braking, you have a way to get a little bit of extra effect in the car, and still by upsetting that balance you can oversteer without getting into almost uncontrollable oversteer. Another thing to notion is of course that in most cars, if not all, the brakes at the front are a lot bigger than those at the back, so there's also more capacity to brake at front as compared to the back. And still you have the handbrake as an option if you want to oversteer a little bit more, which I would not advise that much. Even when you hit the grass, especially attempt to keep, or sand, keep one tire, the back tires that are propelling the car, on the asphalt to not lose too much speed. And why is that? Because you have a limited slip differential, which can then transfer more power to the tire that still has grip. As you can see, this car is quite a nice drive. Some people will tell you that the BMW M5 is a handful. I'm totally not agreeing with that. I think it's a very nice balanced car. And why is that? Because you have a front engine rear wheel drive setup, you also have a very good balance in the weight distribution. So the engine is at the front and the gearbox is directed a little bit more at the back, and there's also the traction on the tires. So with a front engine rear wheel drive car, when you're accelerating, especially at low speeds, the car will move a little bit upwards with the nose, and that puts even more pressure at the back tires, so that's a good thing. The top speed of this car with this setting that I gave is about 325 kilometers an hour, so once I hit that, you will see that the car has trouble to get a little bit faster. I have to brake a little bit more. Oh, so close to 7 seconds or below.